All right, tax season is wrapping up, and for many people, that means a refund is on the way. So how do you plan to spend that cash? Have you thought about using it to improve your financial future? Corey Sickles, the owner of Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, here with advice for using that money in a smart way. It's not always maybe the fun way, Corey, because it doesn't pay off immediately, but it's smart, right?
It is smart. I mean, really, there's two types of people that I see, right? There's people that want to get the big refund.
Yeah.
And there's some that want to break even, maybe just pay a little bit back.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, if you are one of the people that, you know, the way I look at it is you're giving the government money to spend throughout the year. That's money that you could have used. But again, if you want to be able to get a big check and do something with it, hopefully you'll do something that's probably in the best benefit for you long term.
For you, for your family, yeah, of course. So one thing I hear a lot of people talk about is using their refund to pay off debt. So do you think that is a good move? Is that something that you're looking to advise more people to do?
I think it's always good to be able to do that. If you look at credit card interest rates right now, they're probably over 20%.
Oh,
that's
they're
where
crazy,
it is.
yeah.
Or even if you have a home, you know, say you have a line of credit at your bank, you might be paying 7, 8, 9% off of that as well. So I think it's always good to be able to pay down debt. You know, obviously you want to pay the one that has the highest interest rate, you know, first, just so you can save money, you know, short term, but more importantly, long term as well.
Absolutely. And I know we've talked about before the emergency fund. It's one of those things that everybody should have. Maybe not all of us do, though. So this might be a good time to do something about that, to set a goal.
I think it is. You know, the ideal situation is 3 to 6 months of your money. That should be an emergency fund or whatever your monthly budget is in case something does happen. But let's face it, summer's coming. You might need a new air conditioner.
Yeah.
Or roof or whatever that might end up being that you might need. So it's always good to have an emergency fund because you don't know when something's going to happen within within the house.
Corey, a lot of our focus is on those maybe nearing retirement or getting in that range. But even so, even somebody maybe in their 30s or 40s, could this money be successfully used by putting it into a retirement account, putting it into an IRA? I
think anytime you can save for retirement, it's good. And, you know, just having that big lump sum come to you, it's a good way to be able to save it. You know, whether you want to put it into an IRA or put it into a Roth or maybe even invest into like an HSA savings account. But you know, if you can put it into something that is going to be able to grow that you can use for the future, I think it's always wise.
There are often big goals, right, that we want. Maybe we are looking to buy a home. Maybe we are helping a child pay for their college education, which is not getting any cheaper. What do you advise in regards to that? Is that something that we should utilize this for?
Well, I think it's always good to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. One of the hardest things I know, one of the hardest things for me personally, was buying that first house.
Right.
Coming up with that down payment in order to make that happen. And if you're living, if you're renting or doing anything like that, take some of that money. Maybe you'll be able to use that for a down payment for your house.
When you talk about people who get that big lump sum too, a lot of times that's their way of saving. You know what I mean? So they think, I am not maybe responsible enough to keep all this money, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to get that big chunk. And they do have a goal in mind with that, right? Is that something that you see for those people waiting for that kind of big chunk?
I do, but I think a lot of times what that goal might be is probably for them to be able to go out and splurge in order to buy something.
Yeah.
But some people do that. Some people like to be able to use that for maybe a house project. Maybe they've already kind of planned for that because that's something that they get every year. But a lot of times also they want to be able to use that to be able to go on that vacation or anything like that.
Right.
The only thing I'm saying is don't spend all the money that way. Don't splurge. If you want to spend a little bit of money in order to enjoy yourself, you can.
Sure.
But we all have debt. We all want to be able to save, and I just think be able to put some of that aside to be able to meet those needs is always going to be a benefit to you.
Do many of your clients bounce their ideas off of you? Are they saying, okay, Corey, I know you're telling me to put it away, but this is what I want to do. A, B, and C are my options.
Right. One of the things I usually try to find out with them, and this is just as they become clients and we start looking at tax returns throughout the years, is what kind of person are you?
Yeah.
Do you want to just hardly pay anything, or you want that big check? And if you want the big check, then it's kind of like, what do you want to do with it? But I think when you become retired, some of that might already be there. They know how they're going to spend it.
Right. They know they have a goal for it.
Right.
And if somebody does not, and they are sitting here saying, you know what, I probably should have any kind of financial plan in order, how do they meet with your team and kind of get that started?
The best way to do that, you can visit our website at safeharboroh.com or give us a call at 614-760-0670. And just remember, all meetings are complimentary and there's no financial obligation. We're here truly to help you.
Yeah, and I always love that you tell people, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. Go out and see what people have in mind for you, for your future, and make it a successful one.
That's exactly right, because it doesn't cost you anything but maybe an hour of your time.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you're in a good situation, we're going to be able to tell you that. And if not, might be able to adjust that to make sure you have the retirement that you want.
All right, perfect. Corey, always good to see you.
Thank you, Robin.